Hi there, it's Helene Phillips here at the Invision Wellness YouTube channel, the place to be if you want to live your healthiest, happiest life in terms of your mind, body, and soul. So today we will be talking about love, specifically about marriage. So if you are someone that wants to have a marriage that works over the long term, this episode is a must watch. Now, Serah and Bernard Ngonyi are partners in work and in life. They founded Horizon Marriages, which is dedicated to give light and hope to struggling couples and also those that are thriving in their marriages so that they may maintain that momentum over the long term. Now, Serah and Bernard have been married for 34 years and they have been running Horizon Marriages for 33 years, and you have 3 children, and they are not children anymore, right?
Yeah, they're adults.
They are adults now. So, so we're so excited to have them here. Aunt Serah and Uncle Bernard. I call them Aunt Serah and Uncle Bernard because they're so dear to my heart. These 2 people have been a blessing, and I'm really so thrilled to have you here with us. I just want to let everybody know I discovered their work when my husband and I were having some trouble communicating. I mean, we were not communicating, we were butting heads, and really they have been a blessing in our lives. We've had tremendous breakthrough, and I'm sure so many other couples can testify as well. So welcome, Aunt Serah and Uncle Bernard. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes. So again, I think we'll just go ahead and start now. Yeah. I just remember, the things that you teach and the people that you've helped, and really just the foundation of what you guys are teaching and the message that you're sending out there. I remember experiencing this in one of your workshops and thinking to myself, why don't we know this? Why don't we get this information even before we get married? It felt like this information was sort of hidden, and now all of a sudden we know what it is. And already now we live in challenging times. The divorce rates are rising yearly. So maybe can you tell us why this is so? I mean, you guys being the experts and all in this field.
We have had some experience. We wouldn't say we are the experts, but we have seen a few couples go through challenging times, and we reckon that when we compare from the past and now, there is quite a big change and a shift in the value of marriage.
Yeah.
People don't value marriage as they used to in the past. They take it now in a different light. And because that was not what marriage is supposed to be, it doesn't work. If you change what the original purpose of anything, then it won't work. And that's our main concern, that people think they can do marriage anyhow, not the way it is supposed to be done.
So would you say, so the nature in which we relate to one another in relationships has totally shifted?
Completely. Because now people want to have their life and still have a marriage, when a marriage is actually a unity of 2 lives. You cannot have any separate life in a marriage.
And that's where the values have changed, in that earlier on people knew that marriage is for keeps. Marriage is a covenant, and you cannot break a covenant. But today the value has shifted to it's a contract. We will do marriage as long as you do what I want.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And as long as I do what you want. But when it doesn't happen, the contract is over.
So basically, I think it's so true what you're saying, and also just what Uncle Bernard was saying earlier as well, is that I think we are immersed in a culture that actually portrays false happily ever afters in every aspect of life. And I think also that is in the movies we watch, in the songs that we listen to, even in the people we surround ourselves with. I think, I mean, you'll hardly find an elder, a mature couple that is willing to mentor newlyweds and say, guys, come here. They bring them to the table and say, this is what we've gone through. Here are the resources. This is how we've gone through these challenges and so on. So basically, we go into marriage thinking there are no trials.
Yeah, and nothing in life comes without an effort.
Yeah.
And you can say so about marriage. If you don't do something about your marriage, you can expect nothing good out of it. So you really have to work at your marriage, just like you work at everything else. Not the picture that some people might be given, that marriage is all terrible and hard work and you have to slave yourself. No, it's just like anything else. We want to come out nice, we put in some work.
And it means you have to prepare yourself. That's the other shift in value. Because in olden days, couples were prepared before marriage by older couples. They were told what marriage is and what they are getting into, and they were asked questions about what do you know about the other person, what do you know about their background, what do you know about their family, what do you know about their culture. But there came the shift of, we are independent. I choose who I want to marry. When I want to do it, parents stay aside. And then the church has also not helped a lot in that. People come, they want to get married. When? Let's do it. There is no proper pre-marital counseling. And that is one thing we value, because we were given that counsel by an elderly couple. We did several sessions with them, and our pastor also stepped in again, and we did several sessions with him. And of course, our parents and aunties also gave us sessions, and I believe that is what has kept us going on for those 34 years, because we fall back on what we got. And because we got that, we felt we need to give back. And that is why exactly 1 year after we got married, we started helping couples who are getting married by giving them pre-marital counseling. And then we also saw the need to get those who are already married but didn't have that, and they were bashing their heads, as you say, and then we would help them.
And I think for me as well, I was so surprised to hear that you are married for 34 years and you started Horizon Marriages is 33 years, right? So that was a year after. So I'm like, okay, so these people never had trials, or, you know, they were counseling people through their own trials. But can you maybe shine a little bit of light just to say that, I mean, are trials inevitable in every marriage, or there are some marriages where it's just bliss?
I think you can say they are inevitable.
Okay.
Every life goes through trials. Whatever you do, you will find obstacles that you need to overcome. And if you imagine that life is going to be a bed of roses, some people will tell you there are also thorns that come with the roses.
Yes, definitely.
So that's the kind of picture we have of marriage relationship. And especially because these are two individuals, even if they come from the same culture, they have come from different families. And these are upbringing challenges. In one family, they may have been quite free to talk to each other. In the other family, it was whatever you want to say, wait for your turn, and it will be given a go-ahead or not. So that when they come together, they have to make do and see, how do we as two different people now become one, because now we become a unit. And also just with that as well, Uncle Bernard, just to find out, because you know, I think we struggle, and I think personally for me, I struggle in my own marriage, understanding or you know, just how do I determine whether this trial requires a confrontation, because I think a boundary has been crossed there, or I just let it go because now I need to allow this person to also be their own person and bring what they have to the table as well, so that we can kind of blend. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, I think you can like observe some pattern. If something becomes a pattern in their life, then you need, if it is stressing you, then you need to actually confront it. Not in a bad way, but to just explain yourself that this thing that you're doing, or this thing you keep on saying, actually stresses me. Can we find another way of doing it? Or can we understand, why do you have to do that? And also that, if somebody has a habit that is not healthy, that's not good. You don't want them to have a bad habit. If they are drinking, if they are,
maybe even physically abusive.
Yes, those are things that you would say they're not like crossing the boundary, but they become repetitive and they can wear you down. So you need to actually look at those things. The other thing that we know is bad is if somebody has an addiction of any substance or a kind of a behavior. Today we know that pornography is an addiction to some people. It's not just a habit. So those kind of habits that become so addictive and draw your strength out of the relationship.
Yeah.
Because this person can't do anything until they have a kick of their habit.
Yeah.
And that means when you need them there, they are not available because they don't have their kick.
Yeah. So you need the partner, the spouse needs to address that, but in love, because you married this person in love and for love.
Yes.
So you have to correct them in love. Actually, the Bible says that we correct in love. And where you find you cannot really correct effectively, that is now where you also try and confront. And sometimes people wonder, how can you confront in love?
Yeah.
You can confront in love firmly and then say, okay, because I have done my part and I can't break through. I think it's time you need help. And then in love, lead them to professional help, because nothing is impossible. Nothing is difficult. Nothing is permanent. Even those addictions, if the person is willing to get help, they can get help and they can get out of that addiction, and their relationship can continue as it was supposed to be. Yeah.
So even because I just, in marriage, I think it's one of those unions where you can have the highest of bliss, but it's also one of those unions where you can also have the lowest of sorrows. I mean, it can really be an area of pain and hurt in marriages, but even in those type of marriages where there's really so much pain, I mean, such marriages also do have hope. Is that what you're saying? With the right help? Because a lot of times, really, when it's so painful, you just want to let go, and letting go in most cases looks like divorce.